Hello and welcome to Audionautic Deep Space Network episode 17. This is our weekly live stream where we talk about music, music production, music technology, all that kinds of stuff. Today I am joined by Ian Lake. How are you, my friend?
I'm okay, thanks.
Yeah?
I've been a bit ropey, but getting better all the time.
Okay.
Glad to be here, as I always am.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you, and I really appreciate you coming last week because last week our friend and the Audionautic co-pilot Curtis was off, but he is back. How are you, Curtis?
Yeah.
I'm back. I'm alive, and I'm happy to be back. To
Whee!
be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to be here. I missed you. I missed you, gents, last week.
Yeah, we missed you last
it's
week.
nice
we were
to be
grateful
here.
to Hydro Fighter for stepping in, and we had a good talk. But it's good to have you back, man. You were missed.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, doesn't it?
Was that your plan all along? Just testing to make sure your presence is welcomed.
Well, it's more about the other way. Like, okay, I had a great couple of. I obviously went back to the UK. I went down to Brno in the second city in Czech Republic, and a great time, great week off. You know, really grounded. But I was like, I came back. I was like, okay, right, it's time to get back to work. It's time to do ADSN. It's time to see my buddies and do some stuff.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you, man. So have you been doing any music, Curtis, or you were just vacationing?
Well, I went back to. I've been doing a lot of absorption. Absorption, yeah, absorption. I went back to the UK and I went to basically clear out my garage from where I grew up, essentially. And in the process, I brought back 2 guitars and a keyboard. So I've kind of like upgraded the arsenal somewhat. And in the process of that, lots of sitting down on the beach listening to drum and bass. And for
not bad at all.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been listening to a lot of drum and bass. I've been learning and been studying some drum and bass, and I'm gonna go and make some drum and bass essentially. And I've now got the arsenal to make it happen, make it work, and it's gonna be awesome. So it's nice, and yeah, just a little bit time away, and help some people out, help my mum, see some people, that kind of thing, and yeah, so it's good. But it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Cool. And to everyone in the chat, what's going on? We got Eon Lake is somehow both here and in the chat, which is just crazy. I don't know how he can multitask like that. Hydro Fighter says hello, gentlemen. Well, hello to you. Thanks for stopping by. And Daniel, what is up? How are you?
Yeah.
Yo, hey Dan. Yeah, I hope that's all. Hello, everybody. It's nice to have you. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, welcome. We got a interesting episode this week. It'll be we got some good stuff to talk about, but what do you guys want to start with?
Well, I want to find out because I took a week away, so I want to find out what's going on with you two, and then we can get into the news. I think that's kind of what we'll do. So,
Shady Rich says, hey there, what's going on, Shady? Good to have you.
What's up, Shady?
Shady.
Slim Shady himself. It's always nice. That's what we want, man. That's what we want. Now, Sunwarper, I spoke to you yesterday, so you're going to take a back seat for now. I want to see what's going on with Eon Lake. Eon Lake, what's been going on with you?
Well, I'm still doing my writing at the moment, which is cool. So I've been messing around, dropping mobile jams and stuff like that into the door and messing around with that. Combination of that and some modular exploration. Seeing I've got a little mixer next to my modular stuff next to me now, so that I can get multiple layers built in. So the idea there is to get as many voices as I can get, making a nice sort of texture, and then I'll bounce it back into the bitbox sampler, and then clear it and start again, and just making textures and things like that, atmospheres and so on. Because I find a lot of the time when I'm writing, I kind of have to get the imagination captured first, and sometimes just atmospheres and vibes do it for me more than notes sometimes, because there needs to be a sort of a reference point for them to have a meaning to me. So I don't be doing stuff like that. It's an excuse to piss about in the studio and run things through other things.
For that, though?
As if you need an excuse to piss around.
On top of that, I've been delving into the Cobalt 8 again, because I replaced my digital poly synth with a Cobalt 8.
Was there an update to that recently?
I don't know, but I only just installed the controller software, which is pretty funky.
Okay.
There's a phone app and stuff as well that you can tweak your sounds live using your phone. I don't know why you would do that when you've got a synth in front of you, but
because you can do both. You can have a little phone to tweak,
extra
and then
control.
yeah, it's just extra
Yeah,
tweakage.
So I've been wading through the tons of presets on there and tweaking a few and finding the ones I like. There's one that I quite like. I think you'd like it as well. It's called Boards Pad. I wonder why.
It's very cryptic, that one.
I have no idea why it would call. Usually they go by like Canadian patch or something.
So yeah, there's some good sounds on it. I wrote
That's
a few myself as well. So yeah, it's just this. Like I said before, that's what this year is all about for me. Is to sort of delve into things a little bit deeper and wring this stuff's neck a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Now wait, is that how easy is that to patch? Like to make a patch on? Is it similar to the mini log where it's pretty, what you see is what you get?
Most of the controls are quite near to the surface, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's not a knob per function, but it's not far off it. It's maybe a shift key and a knob per function. There's a lot that's immediately at your fingertips. So yeah, the most of the stuff I think you can do. The one thing that was bothering me was the fact that there was something like 250 factory presets. I don't know how many user there are, but to actually get through those with just a knob, and yes,
yeah,
they'll be there forever. But there are a bunch of fast store locations that you can save to and call up again. Cool. So it's actually going to be a workaround somewhere. You've just got to take the time to read the manual sometimes.
Who's got time for that? Just start working on the synth. That's all you need. Who needs a manual?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's great. It's got effects in it and everything. So, I mean, it's all good fun. It's good for making textures with and so on. So that's fun. And another little milestone for me. I make these things that I want to do, and one of them came to. I've approved my first vinyl master this week.
Cool.
It's little milestone for me. It's something I wanted to do. I've been wanting to get my stuff on vinyl for a long time.
Yeah.
And although there may be plenty more of that coming, managed to get a track on a Castles in Space subscription library release that will be coming out. It'll be a double LP of people who are subscribers and their music. And boy, it sounds pretty good actually.
Really?
I've heard the track.
That's a hell of an achievement, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah,
just
really happy about that.
That's exciting.
Huge fan of the label.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And really quick, Daniel says manuals are just like words, man. I couldn't agree more. That's exactly my sentiment. They're just like words, man.
Exactly.
No, but that's it, right? That's the problem with them sometimes. It's just like you read it. Whereas if somebody showed you, it does this.
That's what I like videos better. And like, I have to bring it up. The SP404 has that like hour and a half long video.
Ding, 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 ding.
An hour and a half long video that's just like, here's how you do literally everything on it. So who needs a manual?
Oh, I thought you were going to mention Valhalla for a minute. There.
Oh, there we go.
We're what, 7 minutes in. Someone mentioned it. There it is. Everybody in the chat, what have you guys been up to? It's been a week.
We'd like to know.
Yeah.
We have quite a few people in the chat today at the start of the show, which is really nice to see. So
other than Daniel, of course, has been having the time of his life lurking. Well, thanks for lurking here. We appreciate it.
We love it.
Yeah.
I want to see what's going on with those banjos, Billows. I want to see what's been going on with those banjos.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking in our binary stars that because I thought the way Josh or Curtis was phrasing it about Daniel getting a banjo, I thought he also got a banjo because he was like, oh, we've been working together, we both got stuff like banjos, and I was like, are you gonna do a dueling banjos cover? Come on. But I guess that's not the case.
I'm gonna leave it to Bill.
You have to play guitar if you do that anyway, don't you?
Oh,
exactly.
I'm
going to I wanna see what Billows does with his banjo. I'm not gonna step on his toes.
And then
sent
the cover.
me.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, he sent me.
Got it. Yeah.
He sent me a couple of videos of him playing, and I hope this is okay. I hope this is okay, Daniel. But I mean, it blew my tiny chimp brain.
Well,
I knew the chimp brain was coming. That's got to be another drink, though. You know, the chimp brain reference. And Shady Ridge, listening to some label submissions since coming off of vacation. Awesome. Yeah, the latest one was really good.
That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. So it's always nice. So yeah, people have been doing nice. While we find out what's been going on in the chat, Sunwarper, what's going on with you? I'm going to pretend like I don't talk to you every day and I just know what's going on in your life.
Well, we didn't talk much. It was just we talked yesterday because we had our weekly meet, and then what's it called? We filmed Binary Stars, which is a banger, as Curtis might say. I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard you say it, but I could imagine you saying it. Let's see what's been up with me. I released Sleep State 2, which I had a lot more fun making this one than the last one because I took more creative liberties, doing more reverbs. I pitch shifted some songs to blend them in better with the songs before it and after it. I did a lot of Supermassive. Like Howard, your track is I think like 90% Supermassive because I wanted the percussive parts to kind of level out more, and so using Supermassive you can get that because the point. I mean, I want to showcase music.
A bit as well.
I'm sorry, say again.
Did you filter off some top end as well?
I did some EQ stuff to certain songs. Yours, I don't know if I added a filter or just did some EQ notching and stuff. It depends because what I wanted to experiment with this second mix was slowly getting like quieter and less high frequency. So it's kind of like as you're going to sleep, it kind of just drifts off.
Right. Yeah.
So I started with that reverse Boards of Canada track, and then went into yours, and then it just like slowly got more ethereal and atmospheric and things like that. Daniel says, "Heck yeah, that was a great mix. Thank you, appreciate it." Yeah, I really like making them. It's fun. I want to make at least 8 and do an 8-hour mix, and then I'm gonna revisit whether I'd like to keep going because I'm trying to do like one a month. It's just fun to do. I really like that kind of. It's like ambient DJing in essence.
It's pretty sleepy.
Yeah, that's the point. You know, that's I wanted to I want to showcase the songs, but I want to put them in a way that may not have been heard before, and like use nature sounds on top of it and things like that. So they're kind of like just remixes for sleep or something, and you can listen to them and find something in it, or you can just kind of have it as background noise and it's there. Other than that, Curtis, I've been doing some monster drop A baritone guitars with for a track we're working on. I added some vocals to it and everything. It started as this like, I think I mentioned it last week, but Curtis sent me this like lo-fi ethereal sleepy track, and then I'm just like, you know what it needs? Heavy distorted drop A guitars, you know, just right on top of it. So I added these. I think there were 4, but now there's 6 or 8 different octave guitars, all doing like from the drop A to the E string and all this stuff, and it's really cool because it's this like weird shoegazy sleep thing with these like massive guitars. But yeah, that, and then wrist has still been bugging me. I had to get an MRI for it, which was not fun. I was hoping it'd just be like stick your arm in the little machine, and no, I had to go whole body in the thing, Superman position, and with my arms raised. It was not the most pleasant of experiences, but that's done, so we'll see what comes of it.
Well, you got to take the good with the bad. I mean, I still check out the scratch that you put in the drive. For people who are talking, people who are wondering, sorry, Sunwarper and I have started work on Voyage 2. And we both have sent each other stems and then completely destroyed them.
Yeah, the goal is like, we'll make some quick like lo-fi beats and some ambient tracks, you know.
No, we're not.
See what develops, and then it's just like, ooh, you know what? Never mind.
But every time we do something together, it's always like, let's try for something. Let's try and keep this within the frames of reality.
Let's make it listenable, right? No.
Yeah. And every single time, it's like, no, we're gonna do.
But I think they're gonna be really good in a unique way, and that's what I enjoy about working with you. Is we still make it. I don't want to say we don't make it listenable, but we do things completely out of what we normally would do. I mean, I haven't done distorted guitars in a song since like 2015 or something, and then this song is like all massive shoegazy distorted guitars and stuff, and vocals on top of it, which has been fun. And then you took that synthwave track I made and apparently turned it into like 180 BPM drum and bass. So I somehow have to add vocals on top of that thing, which that's gonna be an interesting one.
It's just gonna be a laugh. It's gonna be a laugh. But that's the point of collabs, isn't it? Like, you know, you try something new, you step out your comfort zone and do something new with it. So I can't remember when we slated it for.
I think it's when I'm on my honeymoon.
So what, September time?
I think
September?
like late August, but we may need to push it to September depending on how much we
We'll
have
see
to
how far
do
it
to the
goes.
tracks.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Possibly November, because I know we got a somewhat jam-packed September and October. So
we'll see. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, so I mean, it looks like we've all been having fun. It looks like we've all been productive, and good things are going our way. We've been manifesting good shit, as the hippies would say. So that's always nice.
Yeah,
Those hippies.
those hippies. We love
That's
them.
always nice. Exactly. Shall we move across to the news, gentlemen? Should we see what's been going on?
Let's do it. And by the way, it is like 80 something degrees Fahrenheit, which is I think rather hot Celsius. So I have the fan on already, and supposedly there's thunderstorms. There were last night. So if you guys hear a bunch of noise or something, I apologize, but it's the situation we're in.
It's just God being a dick.
Apparently, I didn't say it. You said it, but maybe.
God's always a dick, though, isn't he? God's always.
I mean, I'm recording.
You're fine all week, and then things come through.
Yeah,
it's always the way.
David's in the chat. Hey everyone, what's going on, David? How are you? What are you up to?
Nice to see you. Thank you very much indeed. It's nice to see. So before we open everything up to the patrons, let's have a look. We got two pieces of news
before we get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But before, so let's have a look. So our first piece of news is just a small update on the Limewire situation. As we previously found out, Limewire came back in the name of nostalgia, the thing that no one asks for.
Remember berries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remember berries. Exactly. But yeah, so Limewire has come back and it has rebranded as an NFT marketplace.
That's right.
Yeah, completely. From illegal virus emitting porn to NFTs, which I mean, if you think about it, kind of similar. But it's
like a Pokemon evolution. Exactly. Limewire is evolving.
Exactly. So we have this. We now have a release date set for July 1st or 1st of July, depending on which side of the Atlantic Ocean you sit on. And it's cool. We finally got kind of a way to go forward. And this is going to be one of those points where the NFT marketplace truly comes to the mainstream. Everything, all that blockchain shenanigans and that complicated stuff gets taken care of for you. And also people who are on the platform will be able to trade these assets back and forth between each other, which for me, at the very least, is one of the most interesting parts, because don't forget that when you make NFTs, as the originating artist, as your stuff as an NFT, you get resell royalties on every time that your stuff is traded. So people can trade back and forth, and you'll get a little bit of time. Obviously, it's not all about the money, but in this world of diversification, this is a really interesting way to go forward. Yes, July 1st, and we can look forward to that. And
can everyone be on it as a marketplace?
As far as I can see, yeah, it's a completely.
It's not like a test thing where certain people are on it or something.
They've been testing with people like The Weeknd, for example, like these people. Gotcha. They've already been testing it, and so now, but the marketplace itself is now being opened on 1st of July. And
Daniel is celebrating it. He says, "Finally, we can get bored apes and viruses in the same place." Yeah, I know. Isn't that wonderful? I was gonna say, does each NFT sale come with a virus? For nostalgia.
I should do. Just pop them in, just turn one of my stems into an NFT and just pop a little Trojan horse in there.
Man,
go from there. Be a nice Trojan horse. It would like pop out the screen and give you flowers or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's cool. It's just a nice thing to see. Like I say, we've been talking about NFTs for a long time, basically. Yeah, we talk about it quite a lot, and it's nice to see this come to fruition. It's nice to see this kind of become a place where those who are not interested or not familiar with the blockchain, not familiar with cryptocurrency and stuff like that, can get on board with it and kind of enter the new world of NFT.
I'm just interested to see how it develops, because that's kind of been what we've been saying this whole time, is it's something we're keeping an eye on, because it could prove to be really incredible and change the game, so to speak, but it could also just be another, fad or whatever.
Yeah.
Completely.
I think for me, it's up until now, you've needed to be, a blockchain enthusiast. Crypto, a bit weird for crypto.
Yeah.
Whereas, this is this is a bit of mainstreaming and a bit of outsourcing the nerdy part of it and making it more approachable, a bit more making it friendly to the layman. It'd be interesting to see what that does for it.
That does bring up a question, Curtis. I don't know if you know this, but do they do the what's it called? To make something an NFT, you have to there's like a thing you do. I forget what it's called, but there's a term. Like to get it.
You have to.
What were you saying? Go ahead.
You glitch a little bit. Say it again, mate.
To create an NFT, you have to go on like the marketplace and do. There's like a term, but I forget. But to make it like on the marketplace, there's something you have to do, and I forget what it's called. That's how much I care about NFTs. But I wonder, is Limewire taking care of all of that? Like, can you go on Limewire and just put up something as an NFT, or do you still have to go through like one of those? I'm blanking on the word, man.
Minting.
Minting.
Daniel's
That's
got
it.
it in the chat.
Yeah.
Minting. Yeah. Daniel's got it in the chat. Thank you very
Thanks,
much, Daniel.
Yeah, minting. That is exactly it. And he also said it's a non-fungible Trojan. And Juan also mentioned that, Curtis, you are indeed a crypto coin. Right next to Dogecoin and whatever other cryptos there might be. It's Curtis coin.
Yeah, Curtis coin. Oh, I like that. A Curtis coin with a K on it. That'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. Excuse me. At the moment,
minting, that's it. Yeah, is Limewire going to mint it? Yeah. Thanks, Daniel.
I assume that they would. There's money to be made in minting. I feel like in these situations, like you can pay a small fee and have it. They might as well keep it in house. I don't know. That is purely speculation.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking like if they're supposedly making accessible to the masses, right? You would think then they would make it accessible to the masses to sell on it, so they would have the minting done there. I don't know. I'm just curious. I was just wondering.
Involves that they get paid. I mean, it's just every service that they offer is a service they can charge for, right? So you'd think somebody's going to come along and do anything, to do everything for you, but you take a cut each step.
Which I really don't mind. It's like DistroKid. Like I pay DistroKid, and they put my music up to all the streamers onto streaming sites. It costs a bit of money, and I'm quite happy for them to take that cut. Like,
but that's a nice segue.
Oh, that is a nice segue.
That's a beautiful segue. Beautiful segue. I gotta bring that up because I think we've said enough. Anyone in the chat, if you have anything to add about Curtis Crypto or anything related to NFTs or Limewire, let us know. But otherwise, I think we should move over to what DistroKid is helping out with, I guess.
Yeah, take the reins on this one, Sunwarper.
So I saw this from an ad. I have a Twitch. I streamed on it like last year once or twice. But they're doing bigger ad payouts to more creators. They're like upgrading their ad revenue. The only reason I thought this was interesting and could apply to most of us is if you use DistroKid, at least last year, you could become an affiliate immediately, no matter what. Even if you had 0 subscribers, whatever, you could become an affiliate on Twitch. And if people view your streams, you can get however much, small amount of revenue that would amount to. But, every small bit adds up. Like Curtis was saying, it's diversification. So if you have any form of, or want to stream of any kind, whether it's streaming games or music, or anything like that, or live performances, maybe how you make productions, there's higher ad revenue. And if you go to if you go through DistroKid, if you even have, I think, like one song through DistroKid, you can get affiliate.
Yeah, and which is really nice in the sense that it's a really nice ecosystem to bring people onto both platforms, essentially. Obviously, I mean, that's the ultimate collaboration if you think about it.
Well, YouTube has a lot of issues at the moment, and copyright, their weird copyright claim stuff and things like that. And so, and you have to get 1,000 subscribers, and I think, is it 5,000 hours a month or something of views to get on the ad revenue for YouTube. So there's a nice alternative. Just really quick, David in the chat said it's worth paying attention to this stuff. That's all I got. I believe that's in reference to the Limewire NFT, things like that. That's kind of where we're at, David. We're just like keeping our eye on it, like we said, because, it could become something. Just like with this Twitch, we keep our eye on it because if it's a way for us to get a little bit of revenue, if we want to stream or something, it's cool. And then Juan mentioned, I didn't even know Limewire still existed. Yeah, well, we covered this a couple weeks ago. None of us knew that Limewire was still a thing. I don't know if they just went underground and came back, or if they've been around doing who knows what. But yeah.
Yeah, completely. And it's excuse me, it's a great thing. So coming back to Twitch just for a second here, this idea. Obviously, we've all tried live streaming in a certain way, shape, or form. I think we've all done it at some point. Obviously, Howard, you had your festival a couple of weeks ago. Me and Sunwarper met live streaming over the internet, that kind of thing. And it's a good place to be. It's still incredibly difficult for people in our realm to do this because there's a lot of moving parts, cameras and hardware, that kind of thing. And obviously it's still aimed towards gamers and stuff because, I mean, green screen and OBS. I mean, what else do you need, you know?
But you're not restricted to doing music on Twitch, right? You could, if you play games or something, you could stream. You could stream you creating music. Like, that's what you were doing for a while, Curtis. You were streaming the making of an album or something like that, if I recall.
It was, what is still the album that I'm still writing, which is still being written. So it's just not.
But
really
that's my point. Like there's multiple ways to stream, and if it interests you in any way, shape, or form, you know, as a musician, if you use DistroKid, I believe this is still a thing with DistroKid. I looked at, I didn't see any new articles saying that it had stopped, but that you can get affiliate right there and then on Twitch, no matter what subscriber number you have.
And that's what you need. That instantly gives you that verification, that idea, and it's a great way to bring people into the fold, essentially.
Yeah.
So good on them. I love Twitch. Twitch is cool. You know?
Yeah, Twitch is cool. I stopped because I started doing more videos, so I moved more to YouTube again. But I do want to start doing live streams again, and we've been talking about doing a sort of live thing through Audionautics, so that might be something to explore in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we still have to explore the notion of Bandcamp Live, which is a whole thing in its own right.
That too, yeah. Eon Lake has a little experience with it, at least as a performer.
Yeah, you have to be wary of the playback time limit.
Yeah, because it's what, they only record 2 hours or something, or?
Yeah, it's under 2 hours, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
No, one to be wary of.
Yeah.
Now I think it's record everything that you stream as well, just in case.
Yeah, which is more computer brain power in its own right. But I mean, like you say, there you lost quite a lot of that festival at Barra Foxman, didn't you? Which is a shame. That's food for thought.
Did you have it recorded at all, Eon Lake? I'm sorry, Curtis. It's recorded.
I have
separately.
a recording of. I keep meaning to put on my YouTube channel, but I haven't yet. I will.
Well, let me know when it goes up. I want to watch it, man.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Yeah.
Tell the world.
Okay, you better.
We'd like to know what you guys in the chat or watching back on retrospect think of this. Obviously, we've all dabbled with live streaming and stuff like that. We'd like to know what you guys, if it's an interesting thing to you, if you've ever considered it.
Yeah, and if you use DistroKid and would go for the affiliate.
Exactly. I know that Billows Daniel he streams gaming sometimes.
Maybe some banjo.
That'd be interesting.
Daniel?
Maybe some banjo. Oh, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, banjo.
Daniel Billows' banjo beats. That would be interesting to see. I'd like to see that.
The Billows banjos beats.
Exactly. Right, we are at the 45 or 44 minute past the hour mark, which is traditionally when we switch across the round robin, and also we invite our patrons to join us in the chat, essentially. And Hydrofighter has been an absolute cornerstone of this part of the show, as they say. This show is brought to us by our patrons because they invest in us and they believe in us enough to give us their actual hard-earned cash, and so that we can do this and dedicate more of our time to making this as good as it can be. So we thank you for that. And so at this point we invite our patrons to come in and say hi.
If you'd like to join in the chat, you can head to the Patreon link in the description. It's patreon.com/audionautic. Pledges start at as little as $2, and we'd love to have you there. And you can hop in the chat like Hydro Fighter is about to.
Yes. Should we get him in, gentlemen?
Yeah, just really quick. Daniel had a thing about the Billows Banjo Bright. He said, "I'll play games on a banjo MIDI controller. Gonna go viral, yo." Yeah, dude. Elden Ring on a banjo. Elden Ring on a banjo. Beat the last boss, and you'll be viral. Someone did that with, I think, a Guitar Hero guitar. They did not Elden Ring, but one of the Dark Souls games.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, it might have even been like I don't remember if it was the drum or something, but they did Dark Souls with like the the guitar controller from Rock Band or Guitar Hero.
That'll finally be something my kids would be proud of me for. I know that guy, the banjo dude.
Yeah.
I know him.
They don't care about the gorgeous music you make, but if you beat Elden Ring with a MIDI banjo,
Elden Ring
you
banjo
made
dude.
it.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to see that coming. Coming from a Billows Burn Bright released soon, hopefully. On Audionautic Records, obviously. So, yeah. We'll make that work. For now, let's get Hydro Fighter in. Let's say hi. I haven't seen Hydro Fighter for a week or so, so I wanted to see his face.
2 weeks, isn't it?
It's been 2 weeks. And here we have him. Oh, it's black. It's gone great. There he is.
Hey.
Hello today.
Hey, welcome back, Curtis. We missed you
Hey.
last week.
I missed you, bro. How are you?
Maybe I'll send you a picture of me, and you could take me wherever you go.
There
Maybe
you go.
maybe you'll make a voodoo doll and send it.
I'll put it in my wallet. How's that? I'll put it in my wallet.
Juan, thanks for stopping by. He says, "Nice one, see you guys." Thanks for
Take
stopping
it
by.
easy,
We'll see
Juan.
you next time.
See you
Thanks for
tomorrow, bro.
stopping by.
Yeah. So that's nice. Hydro Fighter, what you been doing, man?
I was been thinking about how you're sponsored by your patrons, and it made me think about how Sesame Street used to be sponsored by the letter B.
Right.
That's true.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Besides that, how's my levels? Are we okay?
Yeah, it looks all right.
Yeah. I think we'd be letter V for Valhalla, really.
Yeah, that's true. V
Yeah.
or S
Well-
for Supermassive.
Yeah.
We have a shot at playing at home.
And speaking of Supermassive, I'm tweaking or playing with a template
Ooh.
that I want to use going forward. So this summer, my goal is to get this template done. By the time we get into fall and really get back into music writing, I just want to jump into the template, write, maybe not use all of the tracks, but kind of
Yeah.
mix and match what I've got out there,
Yeah.
right? And I like to restrict it to 8 channels because that makes it very easy to use on the APC. And you don't have to nudge over to get those other
Yeah,
channels. You got everything at hand's reach. And the last channel I have set up in there is strictly going to be for Supermassive.
Dude, you should sidechain it to the
Oh,
beat.
channel.
Sidechain it to the
Yeah.
beat.
Yeah, you
Yes.
gotta have your reverb pumping, bro.
Yeah,
No,
so you
no.
got the reverb going. Well, I used to do that. I love that sound, man. Not with Valhalla, but that would be sick. If you put like the sidechain, if you're sending synths and whatever else into that Valhalla bus, you could then sidechain that bus to the drums, and so the synths are playing normal, but the rhythm, not the rhythm, the reverb is just going boom boom. Yeah, and Daniel
I'm-
says he's formally requesting a Hydro Fighter voodoo doll. Yeah, there you go.
I may do that.
A voodoo
Sunwarper.
doll
Yeah.
or the
No,
I'd do both, honestly.
So I started sending voodoo dolls out to you guys. I'm going to start having all these aches and pains all over the place.
I'd be a little spooked if in my mail came a little like voodoo doll of Hydro Fighter.
I am going to maybe try that with the Supermassive, though. I mean,
Okay,
the idea of
yeah.
having it set up as an extra channel, I have it as a send, but it will fall right into place as a channel on the board.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of doing that is being able to play with the effects in real time.
Yeah,
with
you
it.
could do like
so,
swells with it or something.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I could map that. I could map the sidechain if I wanted to a controller and use it like that. So good idea.
Yeah, dude, it's
Yeah, but
it's
if
awesome.
if you use it as a send, you can enable the send and send Supermassive to your Supermassive and get more Supermassive.
I was just gonna say you should send the Supermassive to another Supermassive send that's sidechained.
What's
then you
larger
get
than
both.
What's larger than super? I mean, do we have a shit ton
Uber
massive out there
massive.
somewhere?
Uber ultra massive.
I would love to see that. We need to contact them and find out. We'd love to know what you guys think. If we have some form of what could be bigger than a Valhalla Supermassive. I do like shit ton massive. That kind of works. Maybe
I
a
don't
bit
know how
more
well
18
that would
plus,
sell, but then again,
Yeah.
it's free, so maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It's an uber massive or something like that.
Yeah, that's Uber ultra massive is what I'd vote for. Just that,
Uber
then it's like
ultra-massive,
double
yeah.
or quite.
It's got to be it's got to be like metal plated as well. It's got to have like a metal kind of motif, just
Yeah.
like
the
feeling Ram
the
time.
Mesa Boogie have that like
Yeah.
grill on it,
Mm.
right? Like that thing.
It's caged.
Yeah.
We've contained it safely for you to use.
Yeah, just in case.
Valhalla, if you
Yeah.
have any, if you need any ideas for this new Supermassive, contact us. You know where to find us. All of our socials are in the link in the description. We'd love to help.
We should
Happy to be a beta user.
Yeah, completely. They should just sponsor us. We talk about them enough.
But you know,
You
it's
guys
a
ever-
free plugin. I feel like it's all right to talk about it because it's.
Yeah.
I still can't believe it's free. Like, there's so much you could do with it. I love that thing.
I mean,
You guys-
Whoever's listening to this is, if they're following the Take a Drink when we mention Valhalla, they're
No,
probably
it's
just
heavy week for
hammered.
them.
I'm so sorry. We'll tone it down, I promise.
Do you guys ever watch? Did you ever see Pee Wee's Playhouse? That was a show on when I was a kid, and they had this word of the day, and it feels like Supermassive. It's that word. Whenever
it's the
anybody
word of
said,
audionautic.
well,
I mean,
whenever
just like
anybody's
long term.
whenever anybody said it on the show, everybody screams. They say the word of the day. Everybody screams. So I feel like
Don't say it
sweet.
again. We can't have these people
So
getting
right
hammered from our usage of that word.
we can make it work. But yes, in short, Valhalla, we love you. Thank
Yeah,
you very much. Indeed.
pretty much.
So in the name of using that kind of thing, I was looking for a segue. I can't find one. So I'm
We
just
had a
gonna start
brilliant
around Robin.
segue from DistroKid to Limewire to DistroKid to Twitch, so it's all right.
We
We
got
can
enough
just
of
we
how
can
about
just do a hard cut.
Are we? Don't tell me we're going to Napster next.
No, not quite.
Ooh.
No,
Oh,
not
okay.
quite that far. No. Don't worry about that, man. Don't worry. No, we're in the round robin section because you're here, sir. And I've been speaking to the guys in the studio, and we've been coming up with some ideas. And I wanted to get your thoughts as ever, as we always do in this situation. Have you guys ever heard of the phrase "a camel is a horse designed by committee"?
No.
Ever heard that phrase?
That's a good one. No, I like
Yeah.
it.
It's a bit harsh on the camel, but it's the idea that if you take a horse,
Get
which is
bad rap.
yeah, exactly, always do. I mean, they're always spitting, so I mean, fair play to them. It's like a chav, isn't it?
I chewed my wife's hair when she was a kid at the zoo.
Really?
You know what camel spits this?
Let's screw the round robin. Let's hear about this.
She's traumatized now because she was stood by a fence and a camel came along and
Oh,
started
man.
chewing it.
So she's not a
Sorry.
fan of camels, then I take it.
No, not really.
Well, hopefully this might ease her pain a little bit. But yeah, so the idea the camel is a horse designed by committee is that obviously the horse is a very pristine, kind of like a very well designed animal, and then the camel is a bit lumpy and a bit gross, basically. And when we are writing, when we are producing, when we are getting to the end game of our tracks, we tend to send them out to people. We tend to get feedback from people, and then upon release, we might send them to playlisters. We might send them who send us feedback. Like Submit Hub and stuff like that, and they might get feedback which can be good, can be bad, can be quite dismissive, can be quite positive, and all that in between, right? The question that I wanted to kind of get to you guys is, how do you strike the balance between knowing what's right in your gut and knowing what you want to portray and knowing what compositions you want to create, and taking the feedback from other people in terms of composition, mixing, that kind of thing? How and if do you strike that balance? Whose opinions do you listen to? Whose do you ignore? What might you ignore? And how do you stay true to yourself? Because ultimately it comes from within, and ultimately it comes from your intuition and your feeling. So I'm curious as to see what you guys kind of think about that, so to speak.
Well, first, I think you pissed off Daniel. He says, "As a camel, I find that offensive." Take it back.
I do. I'm sorry, fellows. You know how much I love you. I'll make it up to you. I've got some hay lying around. I think camels eat hay. I will go with that.
Don't worry, Daniel. He's gonna get a banjo and make it up to you.
What'd you say, Ian Lake?
They definitely eat hair, as my wife will tell you.
I kind of like my hair, so please don't eat my hair. People would be pissed off if I lost my hair. But yeah, so this is where I'm getting. So how do you, in short, how do you strike the balance between following your heart and knowing your intuition and dealing with yourself as a musician and a producer, and then taking on board the feedback and the criticisms or constructive criticisms of those around you? That's what I want to know. And does anyone wish to go first?
I think Hydra Fighter should go first.
Yeah.
He is our guest.
He is our guest.
But we don't want to put him on the spot because that's a fresh question to him. So if you need that's fine.
I wish there were more people who criticized what I do. I don't think I get enough feedback sometimes, and the feedback that you get, I mean, we're such a supportive community sometimes that everybody's really on board with it, what everybody's doing. And a lot of there's good stuff out there, but I don't really get a lot of feedback that I wish people would say, hey, man, that is way hot in your mix. What's up? Wait a second, guys. Your drums are way too hot.
I think we all tell you that.
I'm a drummer.
I just don't think you take that into account.
I'm working.
I'm up first. I'm still waiting.
All right. I'm working on better balancing my drums. I don't know if they'll be like that so much the next time, but that's something I know that's one of my flaws. But I don't really take anything too. I mean, I don't let it affect me too much. It's not going to hurt my feelings or anything like that. I think it's good to hear some feedback. In terms of writing, I could care what anybody tells me because I know what I want to write.
Yeah.
In terms of production, it's a total different story, and I would prefer to get a little bit more feedback. Is that what you're looking for, Curtis?
I mean, I'm not looking for anything in particular, Hydrofighter. I just want to kind of know what your thoughts are. I mean, this, I suppose, what
Window into your soul is what we're looking for.
Yeah, window into your soul. Oh, that's beautiful. Eon Lake 2022.
It's research for the voodoo doll.
I sold my soul to the devil so I could play electronic music.
There you go.
Wow.
Deep. Right?
Right.
That's shady.
That's shady right there. Channeling shady. Okay, no, it's interesting to me that you say that. I know when it comes to writing, I know exactly what I want to put forward, and that's encouraging to hear, because a lot of producers, especially if you're not been doing it for very long, for example, are susceptible to that idea of less self-expression and more kind of what's going to make hits and make playlists. That kind of thing.
And I like the variety of music that's in the community. I mean, it's like Sunwarper singing on. He's got that kind of retro wave vibes thing going on. Mouse might have some total abstract modular stuff going on. Two different types of things, but they kind of still fall into the same wheelhouse. So I love the variety that we have out there. It's cool.
Yeah. And real quick, David in the chat says, I take technical advice seriously and emotional responses seriously. So that, if I'm reading you right, Hydrofighter, that's kind of the same thing, right? You want to hear technical things like the drums are too hot or this or that, and then like, oh man, that really hit me, like makes me feel happy or sad. But in terms of like your composition, right, you don't care as much. Am I getting that right? And David, is that kind of what you're saying? Like I guess your composition could fall under technical, but
your song made me feel really trashy. You know, just put me in a bad mood.
I get that.
But maybe you want that feedback. I don't know. Maybe that's what you were going for. If you're making like obscure, death noise or something, like maybe that's what you want.
Maybe that's the advice I should get to make some obscure death noise.
Obscure death noise sounds like a name for a band to me, but
I need to revisit Brian. I was making a concept EP about Brian, which was meant to make people feel very uncomfortable. I'll send that out to you guys. Tell me what you think.
Just record the MRI. That MRI made the craziest noise. I was just like trying to figure out songs I could make based on the weird noises it was making.
I can't believe you didn't field record it. You claim to be an
my
ambient
phone would probably explode or something. You have to put your phone in a locker, and you can't have any metal on you and stuff. But I was half tempted to ask the lady afterwards, like, "Hey, do you mind if I just do you mind if I field record you doing this for a little bit? Because this sounds really cool." It's making these like dubstep wobble noises and like just crazy. One thing sounded like what's it called, gyroscope from Boards of Canada, like that weird drum that it does, where it pans and it's that like snare that's modulating. It sounded just like that. I got lost in like a trance to that noise.
It wasn't all bad, was it?
No, it was all right.
I feel like most things we can get away with if you just say, "Sorry, I'm a musician."
Yeah,
it's just
Can
it
I
means
just
people are a
record
bit
this
weird.
MRI? I'm a musician. Sorry.
Sorry, musicians, right?
Okay, it's for music.
Yeah. For music purposes.
It's my job. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you live in your girlfriend's car. Isn't that the joke with musicians? The drummers, I think it's more about drummers than anything else.
Right.
You live in your girlfriend's car in the drums.
In the drums, yeah. That bass drum's pretty big. It can fit you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Eon Lake, what about you? How do you feel about this?
You missed the segue. I was going to say, speaking of drums, Eon Lake, what do you think?
Well, I didn't need to say it. I just moved to it.
I think that this desire for feedback is perhaps not what it appears to be in some people, and that it's more looking for approval and wanting praise and fishing for it, which is why I don't do it much at all.
Interesting.
That's just what it seems like to me. I think a lot of people who are making music are on their own little journey, and while they might be interested in some things like, you know, is the cowbell too banging in this? Should I
Never enough cowbell. We all know the answer to that one.
But apart from that, I think sometimes it's just people going, look, here's my new song, listen to my new song, tell me it's wonderful. And I don't know that feedback is actually, I think feedback it's only ever useful when you know the person that's giving you feedback and you understand their sensibilities and where they're coming from. You need a frame of reference. Otherwise, it's just some fucker's opinion. And, you know, everybody in the world has got one, you know, they're like holes in your bum. And who cares what it is if you don't know who's telling you this, and that goes double for like Submit Hub and all that crap.
Yeah.
Why would I give a fuck what you think about my music? Stick it on a playlist or don't.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't give a crap. Yeah.
You don't like it? Okay, fair enough. You know, there are probably millions of other artists you don't like either. I'm okay with that. I can handle it. You know, I'm trying to find the people that do like it, so we just keep on trucking. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't worry about it too much. I do occasionally share things with my peers, you know, it's more the joy of creation, really, and being enthusiastic about what you do. It's about whether you know someone well enough to be able to go, here's a track, I did this and I really like this sound I made or something, you know, without them thinking you're a dick or you're fishing for compliments or whatever. If you know someone well enough that can understand your enthusiasm and like knows where you're coming from with it, it's a nice thing to be sharing stuff and, you know, talking about what you do. But I do care a lot about not looking like a dick, you know. And
do you share my same love for massive kicks, massive drums? If you do, then I feel good about keeping the drums.
I do like big kicks. I do like a big kick.
I don't think drums get enough credit. They're more melodic than you think.
Well, you take them out and see what happens.
Ghost notes.
If they jump in there.
Ghost notes are huge for like that, adding melody in a sense.
And with the cowbell, you can't have too much cowbell, but it could be better if you soak it in supermassive.
Ooh,
so
I go for
cut
20
some
minutes.
of that low end, you know.
You know, you got to bring that ding out with the right attack.
Hydra harp, that's the only preset you need, man. Real quick in the chat, David says the support is the most important, and it's a refreshing development in scenes. Definitely, like we talked about before. I remember when I was in the metal scene in high school or whatever. It was like everyone was just in it for themselves, wouldn't talk, you know, they'd all really hypercritical, all that stuff. Maybe that was just here in like Los Angeles, but I assume that was kind of everywhere. Maybe it's also genre related. And Daniel says to Eon Lake about the everything you were saying, damn straight.
Damn straight. Yeah.
In response to what David said, you know, if somebody mentions an emotional response, that's gold to me.
That was what I was gonna say.
That means the absolute most of anything. If it makes you feel something, then that's the whole point, you know.
And I think that's also the biggest feedback in terms of like getting something back from it, because you know something you did in that song, that album resonated with at least someone, and most likely, you know, a lot of people. And I'm not saying that you then have to emulate that again, but you know you're on the right course, and that future things.
No, but it's not good a thing that if you only did that to one person, that's enough.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean it is. I'm just saying, like, most likely, I always think if it does that to one person, it will do it to other people, because it just like it resonates.
I like it
with
when
someone.
I like it when they notice the little things too. You put small things in, like with you, Ian. You've got patterns that are tricky to catch and figure out where they're overlapping in a way sometimes. So I know I gave you feedback once on that, so I hope you enjoyed that.
I did very much.
No, he doesn't like feedback. He doesn't
Still
want feedback.
Now. It's still
Only if it's good.
polyrhythm somewhere.
Feedback through Supermassive is good.
Yeah,
I
that's
know,
true.
yeah,
Up in the
always,
feedback is all you need on
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah, that's the only feedback you need, really. Great stuff.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Sunwarper? Where do you sit with this?
Well, I'm similar to Eon Lake, but
Hmm.
I'm a little more in the mind that I think feedback in the creative process is helpful, and it also varies depending on or scales depending on where you are in your journey. Like, of course, I would think if you're starting out more, feedback is very helpful, because like I remember when I was starting out with electronic music, I was doing really weird amounts of bars, just like that, because I was just on the patterns and reason. Like, I wasn't thinking like I was when I was creating the music. And someone was like, some of these parts go on a little too long, like maybe add more. And like then I got into Boards of Canada and things like that, and figured out you can do these kind of horizontal additions and change the linearity just by adding small little phrases that only pop up once or twice or something like that. And that was huge in my like music direction. And I think that's big. And also just I think similar to what Eon Lake was saying, sometimes when you're working on something for a long time, which with electronic music sometimes it takes a while, or you have jobs or things like that, it's you lose that objectivity. So it's nice to get an opinion from someone you trust and you respect. And like, maybe Eon Lake was taking shots at me by mentioning it, but I always come to him.
No, it wasn't.
Just kidding. Just kidding. But I always come to Eon Lake, to you, Curtis, patrons.
And you always know what
like
you're doing.
Well, yeah, but I like to get an opinion to know, just like it's kind of like a trial run or a beta, like to see what someone will say. Like, did it have the emotional response I thought it did? Like, out of curiosity. I'm not saying I will change it because of it, but I just like to know how it's faring with people and get an idea, because like I lose the objectivity, I lose the emotional response, I lose all of that because I'm just listening and being very attentive to like the technical aspects. And and that's something I've been working on and stuff, but sometimes I feel like you need to do that. And so I think it is good. And like David was saying in the chat about the support, I think, and Hydrofighter, you mentioned it, I think that's huge. Just like the support in the community is big. And in terms of Submit Hub, I'm not the biggest fan of that type of feedback. And I think I understand why it exists. And, those playlists exist, I don't want to say for homogenized purposes, but like they're there for a reason and a strict genre, like a certain type of ambient, a certain type of lo-fi, a certain type of synthwave. And a lot of music doesn't fit in that, especially if you're making music for art's sake or to speak what's in your heart. It's not going to fit that type of stuff. And so you have to remember that is one person with a very set parameter that they're looking
And you
for.
might like left-handed synthwave. You'll never know unless you listen to all the different types.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's what we try to do with our playlists, is we keep it pretty eclectic. That the unifying theme is that it's like chill, it's got synths, it's got, things like that. But I like that kind of music, and I think that's a smaller subset of people, but that's just what resonates with us, and we try to push that. And those groups are usually more supportive because they like a wider range of things, and it's not just they're looking for like, I want a 4 on the floor, I want percussive little poppy synths, like that's it, that's all I want in this, and maybe some vocals or something. It's like, so if I think it's good to submit on Submit Hub if you've got the budget and things like that, but to take any feedback with that grain of salt, that like this is one mind, one set of ears, and they have a very strict set of parameters that they're looking for.
Yeah, which kind of goes to show you can't take all criticism bad. I mean, you got to shake some of this stuff off, move on, get it out. I joke with Shady all the time. It's like, well, we're going to release this, and then 2 months later, nobody's going to listen to it, or not going to listen to it for a while. They'll get their kicks out of it for a week or two and move on to the next cool thing, right? So,
don't start that with Eon Lake.
That's
not like moving on to the next cool thing.
Moving on to the next camel's tongue.
The image is going through my head right now. Wonderful. Wonderful.
What about you?
Yeah, we got to get to you,
Curtis.
Oh, me, yeah.
Answer the question.
I honestly, I think I don't have much more to add other than the fact that I don't care about what people say to me on Submit Hub. I think that's. I think
I'm never
I really want to
getting
hammer that one home. I really want to hammer that one home. If I use Submit Hub, I submit to Submit Hub, and I get a lot of rejections from Submit Hub, and I don't even bother with listening to what they say because I don't care. Because as you've said, as you've said, Eon, like the notion of these people. I'm sure they're great people. They're lovely people, and I'm sure they're good human beings with good souls. But they don't have my music at heart. They have their own playlist at heart, and that is nothing that I have any interest in at all. You know, I send my music out to you guys for technical reasons. The hi hat's too loud. You know, I can't really hear bass very well. So
You mean the drums, the kick?
Yeah. Well, there is that as well. Basically, my low end is fucked, isn't it? So
Did I put a kick or a hi hat on this track?
Every time I get a mix from him, I just like assume, okay, the low end is gonna be like 7 dB too loud, so I always have a Curtis patch on my master channel that I start with that just has the low end just cut.
Just cut right out.
Could you send me that patch? Could you send me that patch?
No, but you're always welcome to send me something.
You make it work. But yeah, so I technical bit when it comes to things like I love it when people tell me that they love my music, obviously, because it's nice to hear that people vibe with what I do. I've also had people tell me that they don't like my music, and I'm like, okay, and really it's the technical stuff I look for. It's that feedback of, okay, is this too hot? Is that too quiet? Could that come through? I need that because I've like seeing the wood from the trees essentially. And when I'm very much of the opinion, when I hand my music out to the big wide world, it becomes something completely different for someone else. I've slaved over it for months, weeks and months on end. It's a different project to someone who hears it as a fully completed thing for the first time. So I don't have a say in how that sounds to them. They don't have to say how it sounds to me.
That's a really good perspective, actually, just to kind of lose your, I don't know if it's ego, but kind of lose that, like,
your investment in it.
Yeah, like, you know, I'm worried what someone's going to think about it. It's like, well, you have your thought on it, and then when it goes out into the world, they'll have their thought, and neither is wrong nor right. You know, it's just like,
you're gonna make their own minds up.
Yeah,
it's why I don't mind if people sample me. Like when we had that copyright thing, in week 2,
that infamous copyright conversation. We came to blows. Yeah, there were true fisticuffs in that episode. I think it was episode 2 for anyone that wants to view or review said episode.
Exactly. So yes, that is it's a very a well thought out round robin this week. So it's nice to hear your.
Anybody in the chat, if you have anything else you'd like to add, I know Daniel said as a camel he highly agrees with the statement. I don't know which statement that's in reference to because when it popped up, Curtis was on a roll, so I just let him go. I didn't want to cut him off, but it's probably it probably fits for Submit Hub, etc., you know, anything. But Daniel, if you'd like to set the record clear or straight, let us know. But yeah, if anybody in the chat has anything else they'd like to add about this round robin, let us know. Or anyone listening after, put it in the comments, and we'll talk it out.
Go from there. Our final section for the week, because we are coming up to 14 minutes past the hour, or 1 minute to the hour of the full show.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? We started at 11:15. We're testing out going on at 11:15 instead of right at 11.
And so, but we have Sunwarper's, what do we call it? Sunwarper's social media segment.
Well, I know Hydrofighter mentioned Michael's marketing minute, which was a good one, but of course that's my name.
It was the Sunwarper's successful something.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that one because it was schemes, and I'm not sure I like the.
It sounds too shady, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's Shady's job. We'll let Shady handle that.
Well, I mean, maybe we're doing something with socials because.
What was that, Eon? Like,
success may vary. Please read the small print.
So I have just opened up the bit for this particular segment, and suddenly my entire computer has just started screaming at me. So, Sunwarper, what have you brought to the table this week?
I'm not sure if it makes much sense without the visual, but I'll just do a quick thing, and we'll put the link to the website in the description. Let's see, sharing the screen. I think it worked. It worked for Eon Lake, but this is a new website for. Yeah, that's pretty patchy, but this is a new website from Spotify. You know, they had that website, we talked about it in a previous ADSN. I think it's called Loud and Clear, where they're supposedly being more transparent with the way royalties work and things like that. And that website's still there, and it's connected to this website. You can see they give like the top 10 most important facts about royalties, and you know that this year this much has been paid out to artists and all that stuff. But this one is more tailored to musicians in terms of like it's a educational website for musicians per Spotify's education. Yeah, Curtis just put the link in the chat if anybody listening right now wants to check it out. So basically there's a couple different subjects. They do create music and more, promote your work, connect with fans, earn revenue as an artist, learn and get inspired, and they all kind of revolve around Spotify and like getting more listens on Spotify. Doing this, they talk about making those promo cards, which if anybody doesn't know about those, that you can make these little promo cards that you can post on social media that like link to Spotify, but it's not just like a photo or just a link. It's a little thing, you can color it and all stuff like that. I don't think any of this is news per se. It's a lot of common knowledge, but it's always good to review that said common knowledge, and just sometimes there's things we might miss, and they're talking about it from Spotify's point. You know, I still question the validity of things like, oh, you know, we look at every song that's submitted to the editorial playlists and this and that and all that, and but yeah, if you put a song up and pitch it before it's released, you get on release radar, great, you know, all that stuff. And I've had some luck with release radar, but I just think it's worth looking at because this is coming from Spotify in terms of getting like more on Spotify, but just in general, I know there's a lot of contention around Spotify, but I kind of always go from the aspect of know thy enemy, you know, like know how it works.
Yeah.
Use it in the way that it works for you. If you're okay with, you know, the royalty splits and all that, because I understand if someone doesn't like how Spotify takes a certain amount and all that stuff. But like we've talked about Curtis and with Audionautic, it's kind of like if you can use Spotify to move people either as fans or to, you know, Bandcamp or buying your merch. Like they now have connections with merch. You can put CDs that it says like buy the merch, and you can click it and it takes you to a merch shop that's not Spotify, but I think it's like Shopify, and I believe that costs money to host on or something. But they're starting to do things like that, and so there, you know, there's ways you can also put like that PayPal donation section. So kind of like if you can get people from playlists to check you out, which is a tall order, or just, you know, get people on Spotify to listen to you and then move to Bandcamp and things like that. I think that's important. David in the chat said, saw Spotify building on Wall Street in New York. Sort of said a lot to me. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. There's contention, you know, it's a bit odd, but yeah, on Wall Street, yeah. So that's that. I'm sorry we can't show it, but that's it. Daniel says he's got to bounce. Thanks for the stream. Hey, appreciate you coming on, Daniel. Can't wait to see the Elden Ring banjo playthrough.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah,
that's gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to. I mean, at the end of the day, just to kind of, in the sense of Spotify, be it the controversial behemoth it is, they've got tools there for you to improve your marketing game, which does come from Spotify, but obviously you don't have to keep on Spotify.
Yeah,
you can use it into your own game.
And I just had one more thing that I mean. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ian.
Right. Sorry, I was going to say, I absolutely trust Spotify to tell me how best to use Spotify.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
get more listeners.
If you're using it,
yeah,
you may as well use it as best you can. And nobody but them is going to know more about it. So yeah, but then at the same time, you know, everything they tell you is going to be Spotify specific. So it's just, you know, use it for what it's intended for. If they've got tools and you've got stuff on there, you may as well be using them.
Yeah. And it's a massive listener base.
And
is what I was going to say. Yeah, all that I was just going to add is that it's a massive listener base.
Can you guys see Sunwarper? Because Sunwarper is frozen for me.
Somebody put the glitch patch on Sunwarper.
Oh, he's back.
There you go. What are you gonna? We got you back.
Yeah, I lost all you guys. I was saying the chat probably heard what I was saying, but we all had an issue. But I was just saying it's a massive listener base, and so it like Ian Lake was saying, if it's the best way to get people to listen to you on Spotify, you can work that massive, like get into that massive listener base. There's some merit to it, you know, but it's only if you're comfortable with what they are and what they offer, and I understand that. But I just wanted to cover it. because,
Good.
like I said, know thy enemy. You know, it's always good to understand it and how it works.
I prefer to kill my enemies, so don't become my enemy, or I'll have to take you out. I'm just kidding.
You'll try.
Kill them.
I've always seen you hide your fight as some sort of sharp shooter, like a sniper rifle.
Oh my god.
I just know people. It's shady. It's shady. It's shady.
It is shady. Shady. Yeah.
Well, this took a dark turn. Let's end on a brighter note, huh?
Well, let's just say that it's been a fantastic show. It has been a fantastic show. It's been nice to be back, and it's been nice to vibe with everyone who's been sitting here laughing. Chat's been a plenty this week, which is always nice. And that is, I feel that's a pretty good note to finish on.
Yeah, I want to ask the chat too. Does the starting at 11:15 work a little better for you guys? We're testing out. You know, we still want to do it at 11 Pacific. I know it's 7 UTC, but we wanted to do 11:15 to 12:15. We do our little intro from 11 to 11:15. So let us know, chat, in the comments.
Works better. It definitely works better for me.
There we go. Well, Hydro
I
Fighter has spoken.
I don't usually get logged on until about that time.
Yeah,
so.
great. Okay, so everybody else, let us know.
Did you want me to throw that in the chat?
I would like you to, actually. Yeah, please.
Okay.
I need to hear the clicky, the keyboard clacking.
Come on, then. Tappy, tappy.
There you go. That's fine. Yeah, let us know. We'd like to see. We're still, obviously, we're 17 episodes in, and we're getting better every week, but we'll see.
Shady calls us rascals, by the way. I mean, yeah, you know. David says, excellent discussion. Time is good for me. Oh, great. That's good to hear, David. Yeah, we're testing out different times. This is the 11 to like 12:30 is our best time. That's Pacific. Thanks, Hydro Fighter, for speaking in Pacific terms, even though I know it's, 1:15 your time. I appreciate that. But yeah, we appreciate the feedback. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add before we bounce?
Oh, it's been
Valhalla.
I knew that was coming.
Valhalla.
Valhalla. Supermassive. That's the response.
Valhalla. Supermassive. Valhalla.
Valhalla.
Eon Lake says, I'm okay with it too. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you voiced it in the chat. You know, even though you're here in person as well, we appreciate the continuity.
No problem, mate.
It's good to have Curtis back this week. I
Yeah, we appreciate having him.
This is a very funny conversation today. A lot of good people in the chat. A lot of good conversation. A lot of good chuckles.
It's been a bouncing episode, so it's nice to be back, gents. So we got next week as well.
It's Josh coming back that does it.
Well, it's shady, yeah, always completely. Shady in the chat. That's exactly what you need. That's exactly what you need.
I think it's actually the banjo stuff.
I mean, everything's good with banjo.
Yeah.
Everything's good with banjo.
Yeah.
You can't really.
I thought the camel content was good. Strong camel content.
Well, Daniel says he is a camel, so we actually had a camel here to help guide us in the conversation.
Well, we'll see what happens when Daniel comes back and see how camel-like he is.
Yeah. Maybe it was just today, you know.
Yeah. But yes, if you guys have enjoyed the show, let us know. And if there's anything that you feel that we should be talking about, if there's something that we missed, because we are just a bunch of gentlemen who sometimes search on the internet and miss things.
And love Supermassive.
And love Supermassive, exactly. Feel free to drop down to our Discord, where we have these discussions throughout the week and stuff, and we can kind of get an idea of what you guys are up to. The link is in the description below.
Yeah, and I also forgot to mention we have a Patreon exclusive Discord channel, but also a Twitter group where we have a lot of fun in there, and we're going to be talking about some upcoming news that we're developing. And yeah, if you want to join in there, join in the chat, or hop in these calls like Hydro Fighter, head over in the description, patreon.com/audionautic. We'd love to have you.
Right. It's very mysterious. I think I know what you're talking about, but also I've had a week off, so I don't really know what you're talking about.
We just talked about it yesterday, bro. Where's that little notepad you got, man? You got to write these things down.
I got to write this shit down. If I don't write it down, it doesn't exist. If I don't write it down, it doesn't exist. Anyway, gentlemen, let's bounce. Thank you ever so much for people watching. Thank you, gentlemen, for being so awesome. And we will be back next week with another episode. 18 is a good number.
Yeah, we're just chugging along. Look at that. All right, guys. Until next time.
Till then.
Ciao.